Clash Royale.
Let's find out who it's going to be.
Coming out here in game number 2, it is going to be Super.
Okay.
Coming out here, and I think he's definitely got to have some kind of snipe build coming out here. You know, all the stuff I was saying about King Sejong Station, you can do so many different things. It's very scary for the Terran early on. And as you said, it's the one map where you know the map and you know the player that you're playing against, and they don't know anything about you. So you have that advantage. I think Super's going to show us something very interesting here. I don't think it's going to be straight up standard play. I think we're going to see a very specific build that tries to take out innovation in this game.
Could be proxy, oracles, maybe even potentially robotics proxy, disruptor drop type play, something funky like that, an immortal bust. There's a lot of different things you can do on this map. And innovation has shown kind of a little bit more of a stable, more predictable style on this map with his Widowmine drops, which kind of he and Maru both helped standardize on this map, not only in Legacy of the Void, but also in Heart of the Swarm. So I do think this is a good choice, and Super is a player that has shown many cheese in the past. He's a great snipe player. He was a snipe player in GSTL, so not a bad choice here at all.
For sure. Let's jump into game number 2 now on King Sejong Station. Here in the top left, in the orange, the Terran player from SK Telecom T1, it is Innovation.
And his opponent to the bottom right, it is Super. Coming out for the snipe here in map 2. The other thing about Super is I think he's somewhat of a middle ground between Alive and Curious. I feel like if you lose Alive here, it's not the end of the world. Whereas if you lose Curious to Innovation, you've really lost your anchor, especially going into those Zerg maps later on. It's a big problem. I think Super is kind of this middle of the road player where he could get 2 kills potentially. And oh, it's Gisato, the GSL commentator. He's here to watch, man. All the StarCraft fans coming down. Frost is going to be map 3. So perhaps he was thinking that Classic might come out. He's ready for a PvP 2. You know, he's got this follow-up plan. Multi-kills are always the dream. And in a really close matchup, it's very rare. Usually because of the maps and the player choices and how you're basically as the defender, the losing player sends another play out. You always have some sort of advantage. It usually goes 1-1-1-1 in a close match in all kill. But in this, I mean, Innovation is a terrifying player. SKT wants to hide as many strategies as possible going up against KT next week, assuming they win this. So he wants to get that multi-kill all the way to an all-kill, whereas Super is hoping he wins this. And then if he gets the second one, it's the dream. But we don't know yet. We don't know who he's going to play against. He doesn't know. But he can make some assumptions, but sometimes those are incorrect. And that's why the all-kill format is really kind of cool, but most Korean fans prefer the entry format, whereas most foreign fans like the all-kill format. And
it's different strategy, you know. I think there's a lot more tension and uncertainty in the all-kill format, where it's like, I don't know who he's going to play. That player probably doesn't know what's going to happen. Is he just better than that other player, even though he, you know, hasn't prepared for that certain player, but that player has prepared for him? And also just the potential of all kills or multi-kills and players just really showing off how good they are and getting into the groove. I feel like that's great. The entry format is kind of like, I don't know, it's you try to pick specific players for the map, but also for who you think the opposing team is going to pick for that map. So, you know, you don't want to put, you know, a certain player out on a map where you think there's going to be a player on the other team that can snipe him, and vice versa.
Yeah, it's very the entry format is very deep. It almost gives you a headache to think about who you might want to send out on a map. But the coaches know these players and their opponents so well. They do so much research. I mean, if you're new to watching Korean StarCraft, you're probably in the minority and watching the stream right now in the middle of the night. But
welcome.
Welcome. But I mean, these coach positions, these choices are straight up paid positions. This is like the highest level. This is why the Korean players dominate. So we talked a lot about formats and this pick specifically in this map. We haven't really talked about what's actually occurring. And so far, Super has just gone for a quick robo, but he's done it without a Twilight Council. I was wondering if we're going to see an Immortal. It's going to be the Observer first, but let's keep a close eye on what happens next, because normally you have a Twilight with this, He's not doing a proxy. He doesn't look like he's doing some sort of cheese or crazy aggressive build. Twilight Council coming down a little bit later here. And let's see what he's got planned.
He's got 3 Stalkers already, so maybe this will just be safe blink into a third. I mean, this is with getting that robotics facility so early and just pumping out observers this early as well. He just wants to be safe against that Widowmine play you were talking about.
Yeah, this is what Innovation does on this map. I mean, it's his standard choice.
Wow, nice micro to get out of the range of that Widowmine.
Yeah, very well done actually by Super here. Looks like he's going to lose 2 probes there. He's going to lose more than that if he doesn't overcharge. There he goes. Yeah. And honestly, 4 kills is decent, but this was a nice hold from Super, all things considered. And now he's going to send these Stalkers here into the main. I do want to point out that Super committed his Chrono Boost to Warp Gate research instead of probes, even though he didn't need it per se right away. So he didn't build his probe count as much as he could have. He also has not changed that. Okay, now he is. To his gateway production and blink, which means he's focusing on production and not on economy, which means he might do a follow-up push with blink. Innovation is just going to commit to this and hope that he doesn't pull.
Trying to split his Stalkers here. He's going to lose 2 of them, and overcharge in the main does deal with the other drop.
The problem with losing these Stalkers here is that it looks like he was gearing up to do a pretty aggressive Stalker push, and now he's lost a little bit of his oomph, if you will. He's making that third base. He's still making probes.
He needs these Stalkers anyways to deal with the Widowmines, and he's just been playing it so safe. Even getting the blink. It looks a lot like a Heart of the Swarm PvT on this very map, because Widowmine drops on this map were so common that Producers were just like, okay, I just need to pump out as many units as soon as possible and get my detection and try to hold on. Try not to take damage, because if I cannot take damage, then getting my third base is very easy. And then, of course, in the past, it would just kind of be like, well, Protoss, once it gets to that supreme late game on 3 bases, you would just be in a fantastic position in the late game against the Terran. And the Terrans, used to do stuff like SCV pulls to avoid that. But now it's like Super kind of just did the same thing, but it's going to be, of course, played out differently here because this is Legacy of the Void.
Yep. And he's going into a very fast bay. This is kind of an almost unparalleled quick bay.
Now he's going to start making Colossi. Yep. It's like he's taking a time warp into the past, man.
Yeah, this really does feel like that. And he's sustained minimal damage. Innovation looks like he's going to plant a third CC. SCV is about to drop it out of his pocket here in a second.
He's going to slam that down.
He's just dumping it out, man, and drop that CC like it's hot. He's not doing it actually because he's committing all his resources to making Marauders right now, but he will in a second once he gets 400 minerals, drop that. Going for a triple drop meanwhile, and this Widowmine drop is still annoying, and he may just simply use this drop as a distraction while hitting this on the ground, using these medevacs simply as aggressors. Dropped it like it was hot.
Yeah, there it is. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, how did the SCVs do that? We'll never know. There is one Colossus out. The second one is of course, being rallied out, and the extended thermal lance upgrade is halfway done. This probe scout here is huge, though. It's going to allow him to get into position. He's sending only his mothership core. That's not enough. Or not saving a mothership core. It's one Colossus. Oh man, this is a bad idea.
Okay, force field saved his life, but he did take half his health and damage there, as well as all the shields. So.
I saw that size of the unit footprint on the minimap, and I was like, oh, it's just a mothership core. That's not enough. It's like, okay, well, one Colossus definitely isn't either. Force field's buying him time, but now the drops are being split. He's not splitting his probes here. Now he does it. I mean, this is a ton of pressure, and to be honest, I feel like he's handling it decently well, but he needs to keep doing so. There's another overcharge here at the natural. Probes in a scary moment there, almost getting blown up. Now he's going to commit maybe the drop here to the natural. Nope, just backs it off, and Super does deflect this attack.
Yeah.
Not with flying colors, but this could have ended the game if he hadn't been so quick to react to both attacks in both locations.
Yeah, exactly what you said. It was a little bit sloppy, but he holds on, and that's the most important thing here. And now, Innovation, he was looking to do a ton of damage with that, but now he's kind of in the middle of the map, like, now he's got 2 Colossi. The third one is about to come out. Now he has Thermal Lance and Resonating Glaives and Blink.
He has a decent Blink Stalker count, yeah, like you just said. I mean, he actually can fight this. Innovation needs to be careful. I mean, look, there's the Blink forward. He's going to fight the Stalkers, but there's nothing for the Colossi. There's no Vikings. This is Innovation's most vulnerable moment, and he committed to an attack. It's a bit risky. Now, if there were a Prism here, he might actually really be in trouble, but luckily for him, this is just a Protoss army that's going to try to pick off as many units as possible using that Blink ability. And forces a stem, gets away. Innovation is building the Viking count home, grabs an armory. But this is a rare circumstance where the Protoss will take the 4th on the high ground first. And I'm liking Super's position. Look, Innovation is just now adding that 2nd starport. Well, 1 probe kill on this Widowmine. He's going to come back for another pass later.
Scuttling away, did his job.
You know, little things like this actually occur in StarCraft where if you watch as a fan and you're watching this like, there's no way he didn't see that Widowmine just go there. He's going to kill it. But actually when you're doing a million things at once, managing your resources, scouting, building tech, this kind of move can actually just get by you. And I think Super thinks he killed it, but he did not. So this could come back later.
Yeah, I just took a look at the position of his only 2 observers on the map. And one was at the 3rd base of Innovation. The other one was at the high ground, the 4th base location of Innovation. So now he's bringing that back. I think he knows the Widowmine is still alive, but he doesn't know exactly where it is.
You know what I'd love to see right now is a Templar Archive. Because he's forced this double starport production of Vikings. He has this high ground defensible position. He doesn't need to be too aggressive. You know, this is a nice move to kind of keep Innovation back and be at a concave at bottom of the ramp. But if he grabs Storm coming up here, then he's going to be 1 step ahead of Innovation's tech. And we'll have that. Does come and clean this up. Very carefully done here. This is always awkward. Can't see over those.
Stalkers are too big. They can't fit in there. And yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Maybe he just hasn't seen it yet. He does have that 1 observer on the high ground once again. But,
he's making me nervous because, I mean, Innovation has not shown any signs of taking a 4th CC, and he has vision of that, both with the Watchtower but also with his observer. So to posture to attack, he could get caught in an angle where the Vikings hit his Colossi and he's not able to retaliate.
It looks like he's just going to rely on Blink Stalkers alone. And, I mean, we've seen this happen before. This was the standard for so long.
Looks like he used Blink earlier. Okay. That was scary.
And when you're fighting against enough bio, even if you have a million Blink Stalkers, you're not going to be able to kill all the Vikings. Let's see. I mean, he's very confident here to take the fight, even blinking forward, and Innovation is on the run.
Oh, man, this CC placement timing is pretty bad here for Innovation. Luckily, he gets a quick cancel there. Looks like that was just rallied up. He is coming to the attack here. It's a lot of Vikings, but Innovation seems so terrified right now. He has 17 Vikings in the air.
Maybe he just wants to wait for the 2-2. It's about to hit. There's also 5 Colossi. Now his army is being split up here.
Did he make too many Vikings is the other question. Is his ground army strong enough to fight this once the Colossi are dead? I feel like with this many Vikings, he should just commit to killing the Colossi before the fight happens, then land the Vikings so that they can be useful. Because if he just fights, the Colossi are still going to do all their damage. And even if he kills them, it won't matter. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Kill the Vikings, or kill the Colossi while the bio is at the back. Now the Colossi are not hitting the bio.
And all the Stalkers are now killing those Vikings that have done their job. This is still so much Protoss, though.
He lands the Vikings now, and force fields get dropped. Too bad those aren't the new David Kim Vikings that we saw announced last night that I'm really excited about. This fight went pretty well for Innovation, all things considered. If you look at the supplies, you know, it's looking like not so good for him, but the units he lost are easier to replace than the Colossi. He's going to fight here on the high ground. I like this angle here. And now he can go into Liberators because there are no Colossi. He's starting double Liberator production.
Super saw just the front tail end of that bio ball, and he needs to be careful about being on the map here. Even though he does have very mobile Stalkers, you never want to be fighting against that high of a count of Marauders and Marines.
Yeah, the key here too is, I mean, he's got a 4th completed he's been mined from for a long time. He's got a 5th base up now. He has a bank too. I mean, Innovation is forced to kind of take fights and trade efficiently, because if he just trades even, eventually he's going to run out of money. I mean, he's already lifting his main base to plant as the 4th, which means this can't be a planetary, which is not always how it works on this map. But, you know, if you can get a planetary here, it makes this position a lot more defensible, especially when you have Liberators. So, you know, the Stalkers blink on the Liberators, you've got that planetary extra AoE damage. Innovation may just die a slow death here if he can't find a way to deal with what Super's built.
Yeah, and you can see Super now coming in here with his Adepts, trying to do a lot of damage. There's not that much bio over here. getting a bunch of these SCV kills and a nice trade. He wants to come in from this angle at the same time, snipe even more SCVs.
And this isn't a plant area, like I said, so you can just walk right up to this out of the liberation zones. Now, that's a lot of stalkers, even with these zones. Looks like he's going to back off, but he snipes the CC on his way out. Sick snipe there.
Oh, man.
Innovation is on a clock now. He has to win this game soon, or he is just simply going to be outmaxed, and that's already the case.
That is such a good read. It's exactly what you were talking about. He sees that it's an orbital, and he's like, oh, that must be your main CC. If I could just take that out, I've got this other base over here. I am so far ahead of you in economy.
Oh, man, this might be the GG scan. He is blinking forward here. The Colossi doing their work. There's so many Glaive Adepts underneath that as well. Innovation trying to hold his own with this bio. There's just so much Protoss here. Force field goes down. Vikings are landed. Those sentries aren't doing a lot of damage. They're pretty weak, but it just doesn't matter. There's too much Protoss here, and Innovation will be defeated here in this second game. And Freaka Freak's going to tie it up 1-1.
Super does it again. He's taken out Innovation once on this map, and he comes out. GG.
GG, he does
Freaka coming back on the backs of Super here. He's going to tie it up 1-1 and make this a much more interesting series.
Getting that early Colossus, controlling the early game, forcing a large Viking count, but instead of switching to Storm, as I expected he would, he just kept making larger ground armies to where Innovation almost overmade Vikings there.
He just kept spamming Stalkers and Adepts, you know, and keeping a decent number of sentries in there, but not too many, usually like 3, 4, or 5. And just continuously pumping out Colossi. As you were saying, like, he even made a second Robo.
Yeah. Well, I think that Innovation realized a bit too late that he should just fight with the Vikings away from this bio so that the Colossi could be doing damage. So he was kind of caught in this position. He did eventually do as I described, where he just sent the Vikings forward while keeping his bio back, so the Colossi basically just lose all their DPS. But he was in a position where he couldn't capitalize on that because he was already pushed all the way up to his third base. Really cool game there by Super, economic lead the whole time, and I think this is, you know, one of Innovation's weaknesses is dealing with builds and kind of ideas and concepts that are not normal. And he played his exact normal style from the Widowmine drop on.
You know that moment where he did that pressure with the pressure at the third and the drops in the natural and the main, and it got cleaned up? Even though it was sloppy, from there he was like, wait, that was supposed to kill him. I'm not supposed. Wait, the game is supposed to be over. He's like, I guess I have to fight. And then he just like moved in and lost a bunch of stuff. And then from there, it was like he was very behind. He had nothing to deal with the Colossi as well for a very long time.
He's like, there's a bug in the game. He like opens the chat log. He's like, no, he didn't say GG. I don't know why the game's still going on.
Yeah.
Well, guys, the next player for SK, I think if this is what I think what a Freaka Freaks is hoping for and predicted is Classic will come out here on Frost, and let's see if they're, you know, the way they're thinking about this. At least this is what I'm thinking they're thinking, and I think it's pretty reasonable. Is that Classic comes out here. Let's see if SK is going to do something different here.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see after a commercial break. We'll be right back.